Hello everyone, welcome out to the stream. This is going to be some Challenger level solo queue. I am Christopher Disciple Allen, and I'm here with two amazing teams. Jedi and Sith are the arbitrary names that I gave them, since I like to be able to call them something besides red and blue. Admiral Ziploc will be jungling for the Jedi, Diamond, the mid laner, with Painless and King Plebe as the bottom lane support and AD carry. Then finally up in the top lane, we have Zhao still looking to connect to the game. Over on the Sith, Batir will be down bot with Sarasun, and a lesbian Squirtle up in the top lane, having consistently the best name in League of Legends. Lee Sin Baby will be jungling, and Blue Rain taking up that mid lane on Nidalee. Then we saw lesbian Squirtle yesterday. He was playing for Team Gank Top for Jesus, which I respected immensely. And I also like that we have Batir, which sounds kind of like Bulbasaur, so I mean, it's almost a Pokemon day. I guess I should have named our team something more like Helix Fossil and SS Ticket, because I haven't done that joke before. And so, it looks like we're just going to have our common line of scrimmage. Batir and Sarasun will be hiding out in this bush. They would love to catch someone off running around this banana rock. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. We had the banana bush, but I don't know, it's kind of a banana rock. Because if they were able to catch King Plebe with a death sentence, that might almost be a flash blown if he can't run away too quickly. Admiral Ziploc just going to start at this red buff, and it'll be a pretty typical bottom half of the map start for our junglers. The blue junglers starting at the red, and the red starting at the blue, so that they can gank level 2 or 3 at top or mid lanes. Lee Sin and Zhao, both very strong early gankers. In a 1 versus 1, it really depends kind of what level it is and exactly how they engage it, because either of them could win it. However, in a ganking situation, Zhao's probably going to be a little bit stronger just because of the hard CC he gets so early as soon as he takes his 3-talon strike. Right now, he's going to be opting to take those wolves alongside Lee Sin, and then they'll run across and take their final buff, and probably look towards this mid lane since it's going to be a bit more vulnerable. Potentially Lee Sin might gank the mid lane, whereas Admiral Ziploc could gank the top since Renekton is pushing so far forward. He'll have his slice and dice, but if he doesn't make enough room, then the 3-talon strike might force a flash out of him, which they would love to grab out early. Sarasun landing a death sentence onto Painless and flaying him backwards, landing a good amount of damage alongside Batir. Now throwing on consistent auto attacks and Piltover Peacemakers. He's really doing a number on the health bars in this bot lane. And Painless doesn't really have a lot he can do. He can try and land the skill shot Dark Binding there, but unless he can do it and follow it up with maybe a Tormented Soil or a couple auto attacks from Plebe, they really shouldn't be able to come back too easily against this very aggressive poke-heavy lane. Ooh, things are getting close, but Admiral Ziploc also waiting in the wings, not going to hop in there onto Blue Rain, since he's so safely back at his turret, also not going up towards top, partly because Lesbian Squirtle has placed a ward in that river, which will be falling down in just about 10 seconds, so Lesbian Squirtle will be without vision for a full minute. It would be great if Admiral Ziploc could make his way up there. I'm having trouble saying any name that isn't Lesbian Squirtle. That is a top-notch name, good sir. Batir continuing to shove up this bottom lane, actually claiming a pretty significant advantage. King Plebe is going to do his best to farm up under the turret, but he's having a lot of trouble with those health bars right there. And so it will be a slight advantage here to Caitlyn early on. Ooh, Lee Sin, baby, moving into the mid lane. Admiral Ziploc taking a bit of damage, but returning so much onto Lee Sin. They flash in, and the auto attack comes across along with the ignite. That's a first blood, and the double buffs transferring over to Diamond. And since it was just after 4 minutes, they get the entire 600 gold from that first blood. That'll be a perfect early start here for the Jedi. And a big hurdle for the Sith to overcome. An advantage to both the mid laner and the jungler means the entire map is a little bit less safe. Instead of giving it to one of the top or bottom lanes where it's a lot more isolated, the roaming potential coming out from an early lead is immense. Now Admiral Ziploc will just look to potentially do some counter jungling. There are these wolves going down. Lee Sin, baby, is going to find him, and Admiral Ziploc has to back away since he knows Lee Sin's around the corner. Oh, he smites it away, and he will run off with that. Lee Sin just having to take away the small ones won't quite have the spoils of war. The Bobatir continue to do what Caitlyn's do. He's not quite gaining as much of an advantage as he would like in terms of CS, but he's still doing a good job of keeping Draven down, keeping him from stacking up as many Adoration stacks as he would like. But now King Pleb doing quite a bit of damage onto the Bobatir after a solid Dark Binding lands from Painless. And so that'll be a little bit of pressure returned. And that's really what the Jedi need down here in bot. A visit from Admiral Ziploc soon wouldn't hurt them either. Lee Sin now going a Xin Zhao hunting. Might be able to seal away these golems or potentially come in here for a bit of a gank. However, I don't see him getting in too far. However, King Plebe, after taking down the Bobatir very low, oh, the flash wave from King Plebe will keep him safe even after the Flay doesn't connect. And so he will be safe for today, but a good flash blown despite not really landing their abilities. The pressure from the Sith and the bot lane are really what are keeping them on the map, since the mid lane is really heavily now in the Jedi's favor. Constant pushing and the double buff still on Diamond are really leaving Blue Rain in a pretty rough spot. He has the experience disadvantage, the minion disadvantage by far, and doesn't have nearly the mana regen that Lulu gets from this blue. Lesbian Squirtle actually getting pushed back a little bit from Zaza here. Under level just a bit, and that'll allow Zaza to push up to his turret, which is something you usually don't see from a Renekton. Some pings came down in the mid, but it's just going to be Lee Sin keeping this lane safe while Blue Rain finally recalls. He does have his ultimate, so he does have the Cougar form to get back a little faster and hopefully clear out those waves. However, it's going to be dangerous to go into that Cougar form up against Lulu, who has such enormous range and some really strong kiting abilities that can help keep Nidalee off of her. Zaza playing this top lane strongly, actually grabbing the CS advantage over Renekton, which is something you tend not to see just because Renekton is such a strong early lane bully. You usually pick him as a counter to Mundo because of his ability to force Mundo out of lane early, but we haven't seen that at all so far. The Bobatir continuing with a slight CS advantage. However, King Plebe stacking up those adorations should be able to grab out some nice gold if he lands a kill. The Dark Binding lands in the Bobatir, but they aren't able to follow up with all too much. Nidalee finally going to grab away a blue buff of her own. Blue Rain will be a bit stronger coming back into this lane. Diamond not taking theirs quite yet. Oh, King Plebe in the bottom lane. Takes quite a bit of damage after the Descendants and Flay. The Bobatir surviving on low health, but especially without an ultimate from Morgana or a flash from Draven. That was a pretty solid kill picked up. They capitalized on the fact that Draven didn't have his flash after that last gank bottom, and so the Sith will help to even up the gold now, about 10,000 on each of them. And things are about as close as they could be. Oh, wow, that actually landed. Sarasan will go in deep onto Painless. However, Admiral Ziploc waiting in the wings, going to jump right on the Bobatir and take her down before she can even make it to the Lantern. A solid play, sneak into the bush from Admiral Ziploc. That'll return yet another kill, now bringing them up about 500 in the lead. So, not too much, but still a safe place to be early in. Zaza has to be careful here against Lesbian Squirtle, who actually goes in rather aggressively with the slice and the dice, taking up so much minion hits. He flashes in for the last hit, and with the Ignite alongside, we'll be able to claim out a kill in this 1v1. Picking up that Brutalizer really put him in a strong spot. Diamond and Blue Rain dueling it up, but Lee Sin Baby does miss his Sonic Wave, so he can't quite join the fight. Admiral Ziploc moving in onto Lee Sin, doing a solid chunk of damage with his 3 Talon Strike. The Audacious Charge as well just gives him such consistent engage. Whenever he makes it into a lane, it's pretty difficult once a Xin Zhao gets ahead. He's looking pretty strong right now. Diamond taking a lot of damage from the Javelins. Not in quite as good a position as he was when he had the blue buff. Lesbian Squirtle now caught up in a rough spot after burning that flash for the kill. He will fall down, now giving over more gold than he originally claimed for himself, because the assist does generate an additional 50% of the kill gold. Admiral Ziploc going to hand this blue buff over to Diamond, who will hopefully have a much easier mid lane experience after that. While it looks like Lee Sin Baby and Blue Rain making their way down to the bottom lane for a potential roam. King Plebe forced under his turret. Ace in the hole comes across, and that's going to potentially push him back. Lee Sin Baby moves in. He lands a Sonic Wave onto Morgana, follows right up, and the Bubble Tear takes out the kill. Painless does land a Dark Binding onto Sarasun, and a solid ultimate, but the stun's not going to land on anyone except Lee Sin, who does find the kill with the red buff damage over time. Nidalee comes in for the assistance and immediately runs right back up towards her own mid lane, and things are looking pretty sweet so far for the Sith after a couple kills really netted them a good advantage in the game. That was their first gold lead so far, and it's hopefully going to help them spiral out, especially in the bottom lane where Caitlyn can really abuse heavily if she gets a few items under her belt. Lee Sin as well scales very well with damage early on. However, later on, he'll fall alongside Xin. Neither of them scale particularly well into the later game. Blue Rain caught up and knocked up by Admiral Ziploc, taking a lot of damage, but will be able to leap right over to the Lantern, where they'll proceed to safely take down the Dragon, first one of the game, netting them a 2,000 gold advantage here over the Jedi. Lesbian Squirtle not having quite so good a time up against Zaza, who's playing rather aggressively with his briefcases. Those deal percentage health magic damage, which is something that Lesbian Squirtle has difficulty itemizing against, since if he builds magic resist, then Zaza should be able to chunk him down with auto attacks. Instead, he's just gone all attack damage, and Lesbian Squirtle actually going in pretty hard. Zaza has not popped his sadism yet. He's waited pretty long. He's going to go back in on the Lesbian Squirtle, who's not taking too much damage, and Mundo backing off now won't be quite strong enough to win that duel. Le Bulbatir, with a solid amount of farm, should be able to get his Bloodthirster pretty soon, and that's what both these AD carries are fighting for. However, Draven's not having too good of a time since he hasn't picked up a single kill. And Blue Rain going to escape there. I knew he was going to get away from that one, even though it was pretty close. The help picks onto an enemy alongside the Glitter Lance is such a great way to harass from an enormous range. It's almost grotesque, really. And that almost found Nidalee's life, but the barrier alongside the heal were able to secure her life for now. Diamond Admiral Ziploc taking the first turret of the game here for the Jedi will help to even up the gold a little bit. Now 900 gold between the teams, so things are starting to get a little more tense. Some Athenes picked up in the mid lane, some Ancient Golems in the jungle, and a Tiamat response up there on Renekton to the Sunfire Cape of Mundo. Since Mundo doesn't really have much he can do with damage, building as a super tank is so effective. However, Renekton might be able to burst him down if he pops that sadism, since Renekton's huge single target damage with his Ruthless Predator alongside his Koldamik and then the activations of his Ravenous Hydra might be a little bit too much for Mundo come the mid game. Once it gets into the late game, nothing's really going to take down Mundo except for potentially a very fed Caitlyn. But we'll see how far it gets there. Now the Bloodthirster finally picked up on Caitlyn. Draven still on a Vampiric Scepter, won't be able to trade anything meaningful on the Caitlyn in this lane. He'll really rely on Morgana to keep him safe while he just tries to farm up and look for a kill to finally activate those Adoration stacks. He doesn't want to pull a cop and stack them up only to lose them. He really needs to play safer until he can get some extra gold in there, since right now he's falling quite behind, and that's a rough spot to be in on Draven, since a Draven who's behind just has very little carry potential, especially compared to the range and very consistent damage of a Caitlyn AD carry. Blue Rain now mounting a siege up against this turret, and with 3 teammates to back him up, it looks like this might be a little bit too much. However, Admiral Ziploc coming from behind, going to scare them off a little bit, and with the minions dying, they'll have to fall back for now. However, they have another minion wave coming soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if they went full in. Meanwhile, in the top, Lesbian Squirtle and Zaza trading back and forth. Zaza with the Ignite on top of him isn't going to survive that, and so he will fall after the dive, trading 1 for 1. Pretty surprising that Mundo can do it so well, but very unfortunate he didn't escape painless, taking some massive damage from the Javelin, and Nidalee really showing the powers of that champion, even with without much AP under her belt. Right now, the Spear is maxed. Most Nidalees will max that by level 9, and we can see exactly how much damage it lays out. Then possibly maxing the W next, since the armor and magic resist reduction are huge, up to 40%, I believe, at max rank. Le Bulbatir doing nothing but farming. Draven going back for only the BF sword still doesn't have enough for a Bloodthirster, so the Volbeteer will be so much more powerful coming into any sort of fight. The Dragon will be up in about 2 minutes, so they could potentially fight over that one. If it does come down to it, and right now these teams are so close, I expect that it could be contestable. Last time, the Jedi really didn't want to get anywhere near it. However, they might feel a little bit stronger now that Admiral Ziploc is a little bit tankier, now that Diamond can throw out a few more spells with the Athenes. Admiral Ziploc spamming out as many spells as he so pleases. Lesbian Squirtle goes in so hard onto Zaza, but just doesn't have the damage for him. And a very unfortunate play is going to allow Mundo to push hard up in the top lane and make it a 4 versus 4 down bot. Le Bulbateer pushing up pretty aggressively. The teleport comes down from Mundo, and he'll be able to catch on the Le Bulbateer here. The trap goes down, but it's just not enough to stop Zaza. And with the Whirling Death coming through, King Plebe potentially going to ground up, finally grabs his first kill of the game. Now Lee Sin Baby looks in a rough spot, and with the Soul Shackles, Zaza will be able to finish him off. Lulu chasing through the jungle, going to try and escape from Blue Rain after finding a kill on the Saracen, and after the jump over the wall misses, that'll be a 4 for 0 here in the Jedi's advantage. That was such a strong teleport down from Mundo. It won't be available for a future dragon fight, but that was still a really solid play for the Jedi, bringing them up about 2,000 gold and leaving them just barely in the lead after that play. Zaza's really doing impressively well up against this Renekton, since it's typically, like I said, not a matchup that that they can take quite so easily. However, now with the red buff and the Sunfire Cape, he's looking really strong. Renekton just has to stay back and farm the jungle, since he doesn't want to come out too far and trade up against Mundo. He has to be afraid of what could possibly happen. Jedi are now going to make a move for this dragon here. And they want to at least be able to contest it, unlike last time. However, they just can't make the confident play on it yet. Draven finally has a BF sword, or as a Bloodthirster, sorry, which will definitely help them out in their DPS. It'd be great if they could get Mundo down here, but without a teleport, looks like that might not be possible. Zaza now going for the dive. Might actually make it open up quite a bit of pressure for them. The Bulbateer finds a kill onto Draven, but Admiral Ziploc trades one immediately after. Now this is a 3 versus 3. Box goes down from Saracen, but this is a 3 versus 2 since Nidalee's still in the middle lane. Lee Sin, is able to hop right over and take the Lantern, juking out the Jedi hard. Nidalee applying pressure in the mid will bring down the turret. However, it looks like that'll be returned top soon. If we take a look up there, the minions are working their way down. Zaza's not actually looking to make a play for them at all. He's instead just waiting in the bushes here. Maybe texting his girlfriend. Who knows what he could be doing. Admiral Ziploc wants this dragon. Lee Sin Baby doesn't want him to have it. And Lulu moving in towards the mid is going to leave this up to a 2 versus 2. Admiral Ziploc now moving into the Saracen, but Morgana changing targets on the Lee Sin Baby. Throwing in the Dark Binding towards him. Diamond from the side, doing some pretty massive damage. Should be able to take on Saracen. There's a Wild Growth for the knockup. The Bulbateer caught up by the Dark Binding. Won't be able to continue on. And Admiral Ziploc grabs the Rampage kill on the Lee Sin Baby. 2 kills here in the bottom river. But with the low health on the jungler, Lesbian Squirtle now down here could contest this dragon. Now King Plebe walks in a little bit too far forward, but he has some teammates to back him up. Lesbian Squirtle taking some massive damage, and King Plebe finds the kill with his Whirling Death. That was not exactly where Lesbian Squirtle wanted to be. The Bulbateer has to be careful about getting caught out by Painless, and there is a solid Dark Binding. Mundo finally taking out the turret up top. Just taking out the golems, actually missing out on about 150 gold from the turret takedown since he wasn't in range. You have to be within a certain radius of the turret to get the extra 150 gold that comes to the members who take it down. And so a misplay, however, they're still grabbing up a nice advantage, about 2,000 gold so far, which is a lot better than the 2,000 gold they were behind just 5 minutes ago. Admiral Ziploc still not able to make a play for the dragon. Should be able to come back here before they're able to take it down, but it's already at half health, and this looks like a really strong play for it. Morgana throws the Dark Shield, runs in and throws down the Soul Shackles. Lee Sin Baby kicks him away, and that'll be a nice disengage after taking away a free dragon. Admiral Ziploc catches on the Bulbateer, and his ally took the Lantern, which is going to leave him in the middle of 5 enemies. Nidalee coming around from the side could be caught out as well. They're going to collapse on her. Nidalee now throwing out the Javelin, going to run right into Painless, try and leap over the wall, but can't. Turns around for some good damage onto Painless, and Draven over the wall, laying down some nice spinning axes. Is going to be able to take it out. The flash away from Morgana will keep her alive for now. Steps right onto a trap, but that won't be enough damage to take her down today. A turret up in the top lane will help to even out the gold just a bit, despite the kills that were found. At this point, the objectives are really going to be worth a bit more than kills, especially since split pushers can rack up so much gold in minions. Right now, 158 on this top lane Renekton, and 176 on Mundo, and they're looking pretty powerful at the moment. Zaza now moving in on the Squirtle, doing some really high damage with his Burning Agony. Lesbian Squirtle has to use the Slice and the Dice around, actually throws the Dominus. He wants to take this turret, but he can't get it in time, and Zaza finds the kill. A 2-6 Renekton not looking too strong coming out here, and Mundo will just continue scaling up. He has the Randuin's Open, which will reduce movement speed and attack speeds based on the level of armor and magic resist he has. And that's really going to continue to become stronger and stronger as he builds more magic resistance, more armor, and gets tankier and tankier. The Bulbateer looking to mount a bit of an offense, lands a nice spear there from Blue Rain onto Painless. However, Admiral Ziploc, oh, Painless almost falls to the double Javelin in a row. And after falling back, that'll reduce one member here of this Jedi team, but they're still actually playing pretty aggressively. They know that Admiral Ziploc, if he gets a lock on the Bulbateer, could potentially win a team fight for them rather quickly. This Caitlyn is a large amount of the damage. Nidalee is powerful in long sustained battles where she can continually throw out javelins and heal up her teammates. But in a short engagement, Lulu will be so strong, just using the Glitter Lance, the Help Picks, and to burst down, and then potentially a Whimsy to shut down a carry with a Wild Growth, knocking everyone up, and giving a lot of health over to a teammate. The Bulbateer going to try and drive Zaza up off of this top lane turret, while the rest of the Jedi move in the mid. Painless has rejoined the team after healing, and a Death Sentence won't catch anyone. This is all a setup, however, for Draven to finally take out this bottom outer turret. And with that being said and done, that's about 2,500 gold here for our Jedi brethren. Oh, Bulbateer knocked back by a very powerful ult from Admiral Ziploc. Sarasun not going to be long for this world. Diamond finds a kill there. Ace in the hole comes back across on the Diamond, but it's just not enough damage. Now King Plebe continuing to push in the bottom lane, joined here by Admiral Ziploc, who will continue to spam out those taunts as long as he has the buttons to press. Blue Rain finding a shutdown up onto Mundo with a very nice set of javelins. However, they're losing out quite a bit since this bottom turret not going to survive too much longer due to these excellent attack speeds and attack damages from both of the champions. Now Lee Sin Baby, oh, you are in such a bad spot here. Diamond keeps himself alive with the Wild Growth. Lesbian Squirtle stunned up and will be slowed up enormously by the Glitter Lance. However, the Slice and Dice almost enough to get him away. Diamond finds the kill with the Sheen auto attack right after a Help Picks. And so this Dinosaur Lizard not doing too hot against the little fairy. Blue Rain tries to come up here, but the Glitter Lance is such a massive slow. He'll continue to chase on here through the bushes, throws out a Javelin, catches Diamond. That's a shield onto him, but the Death Sentence might exactly do that, spelling his death there as Sarasun finds the last hit. Mundo moves in from behind, and Nidalee might be caught out here in the Dragon Pit. We'll be able to jump over the wall, finally landing that move, and we'll probably be home free since there are quite a few ways that Nidalee can juke around in this jungle. Admiral Ziploc still going to attempt the chase. Blue Rain jumping right between the turrets, not taking a single shot. Up here, Painless with an ace in the hold to the face. Actually going to survive that one. A Sonic Wave going to be a little bit too much for that Morgana, though. And with the Lantern coming down, Lee Sin will be able to jump away. Whirling Death comes back across and finds a killing spree for this Draven, flashing over for the stand aside. That'll make an easy kill for on the Bulbateer for Zaza. Now with 21 kills to 9, this game is quickly spiraling out of control. A huge kill differential for the Jedi. However, they're still just ever so slightly up in gold. Now about 4,000. Doesn't look quite as strong as it might have when they were 2,000 up a short time ago. Admiral Ziploc moving in. He's going to be able to knock up Lesbian Squirtle alongside that. Wild Growth move back in with the Audacious Charge and throwing the ult. Makes a nice cleanup in the mid lane. Well, in the bottom, King Plebe just does almost nothing but push. Nidalee might be able to come cut him off if he stays around for too long. He has to make sure he isn't caught out by either the Death Sentence or the Sonic Wave. A stand aside will keep the Death Sentence off of them, and the Sonic Wave missing means that Lee Sin Baby just has to chase on foot. Tries to throw down the cripple on the Zaza, but he has some nice attack speed to move away, or movement speed to move away from this one. Blue Rain chases in from the side, throws across the Javelin and lands it, but right now it's not doing so hot. Admiral Ziploc putting on a show for the cameras, just continuing to apply pressure on both of these lanes, which really is stretching our Sith friends thin. I promise that wasn't difficult to say. Oh, Blue Rain jumps right to the wall into Zaza, takes a good deal of damage, and we'll take the Thresh Express right back over. Zaza running right into the enemy team. He doesn't have that much backup, though, and so will have to fall back. Descendants catches onto him, but after popping the Sadism, he'll be regenerating some massive health. Dark Binding catches on the Bulbateer, but Lesbian Squirtle jumps right in here. Zaza kicked away by the Dragon's Rage. Admiral Ziploc now in the middle of the team, but a huge Soul Shackles ends up stunning out 3 members. That was a 5-man Soul Shackle. 2 of them escaped in time. Now Whirling Death coming across the enemy team. Diamond finding a double kill with a single Glitter Lance. The Bulbateer returning a kill. Might look to return more. Painless wants to land a Dark Binding. Zaza is so low. The Bulbateer, after netting over the wall, will find a double. Overall, a 3-for-2 exchange. Pretty close here. The Jedi almost did that flawlessly. However, they lost a bit extra in the end. But the 6,000 gold lead, definitely not going to look too shabby for them. There are also quite a few minions up top. They can then push that wave back in and start applying pressure in the top lane as well, which will really be more than the Sith can take care of at this point. Oh, the Bulbateer caught aside by the Stand Aside, but takes the Thresh Express out, and he might escape. Oh, that Dark Binding was so close. Admiral Ziploc can't quite follow in, since Lee Sin Baby and Lesbian Squirtle are in full health. And right here, King Plebe gets himself caught in a rough situation. Lee Sin Baby finding a good situation for his team, which is more than he's done for quite a while. He's had a rough time getting in there for the kills. He's 2-6-3 so far. Not looking too impressive. Lesbian Squirtle as well seems pretty far behind, opting to go for the Black Cleaver before he finishes out any more defensive options. Now, with a Negatron Cloak, should be able to go for a Spirit Visage, which will really help him stay alive in the enemy team, grabbing up some nice health back with his Kull the Meek, as well as getting health back from his Ravenous Hydra. That's something that we can never forget about, especially when Ruthless Predator applies multiple on-hit effects, which means several procs from the Ravenous Hydra, giving him a lot of health back in a multi-enemy situation. Oh, the Bulbateer takes some massive damage. Zaza flashes in, and with the Wild Growth popping everyone up and slowing them, Zaza will be unstoppable, moving in, diving the enemy lane. Now Painless with a good Soul Shackle stun, but there won't be enough follow-up. Diamond going to be the next target there, and Lesbian Squirtle and Lee Sin Baby move in some of the 2 weakest members of the Sith, but they're just so strong here when they're grouped up. A solid Whirling Death comes across. It finds a single kill onto Thresh, but King Plebe is so strong here. He finds a double kill, and he should be... No, the Dragon's Rage kicks him right over the wall, and he won't be able to continue on. Now Zaza tries to run away from Blue Rain, but it's going to be rough going. Blue Rain diving right in here. Teleport there from Zaza, but it's not going to be enough. The percentage health missing damage from Blue Rain claims up his life before he can get that off. He'll have a reduced cooldown on the teleport, I believe, but it's still rough to have used that for the Desperate Escape and not have it pan out. With things calming down a little bit, there's about 5,000 gold between these teams, which seems to be our golden number for the past few minutes. Some big items built up on everyone here. Lulu getting powerful with her Baden's Death Cap and a Lich Bane. The Athene's Unholy Grail still going to help out, but falling off in usefulness once they get into a very late game situation. I expect to see some Void Staffs coming out soon on these AP carries, since they really need to be dealing more damage in these fights to take down the tanky members we see here from Mundo, Zhao, Renekton, and Lee Sin. Caitlyn and Draven getting very similar builds. The Bloodthirster, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper has pretty much the highest single target damage you can have without an Infinity Edge, which I expect might be the next item here from Draven after buying that BF sword. And with the pickaxe, that's a for sure Infinity Edge, which will give him a really powerful late game coming out here in just 30 minutes. He still needs a little bit longer to build up that item. It takes about 1,000 gold more. But once he gets that, even Lee Sin Baby and Lesbian Squirtle won't be able to tank up too many shots from him. Mundo pulling out massive amounts of health and armor, can really play aggressively up here, but he has to be careful about getting chased down by Blue Rain after the fight, since that's been his death many times. Zaza now here in the middle of the enemies, going to slowly fall. Throws the Randuin to be able to escape, and now the rest of the team is trying to re-engage. Painless taking a huge javelin and won't be able to come back in the fight since he doesn't have a Zhonya's Hourglass. There's no way he'll get off a full duration of this Soul Shackles. He has to try and heal up. There are no heals on this team. Admiral Ziploc moves on the Labelbatier and almost, oh, he's able to almost 100-0 him, but King Plib with a single auto attack finds the kill. Whirling Death misses pretty much everyone, but as long as they found the Caitlyn, they should be fine. Running into every single wall of the box. They're going to try and continue chasing. Lee Sin Baby caught up just a bit, but should be able to escape off the side. Painless takes so much damage, but escapes on almost no health. Sarasun falling to the insane damage from King Plebe here. 8, 4, and 8. Draven finally picking up. It took him a while, longer than he would like, but now he's looking powerful. 7,000 gold and quite a few turrets under the belts of the Jedi. They're moving in and finishing off this inhibitor turret. The inhibitor going to fall soon after. There's nothing that Lee Sin nor Renekton can do to help. Lesbian Squirtle taking so much just from this Lulu. Goes to show just how squishy he's built so far. The chain vest helping out with a bit of armor, but he doesn't even have a single completed defensive item. That's certainly hurting him. When you look at the opposing top laner with the Randuin, a Spirit Visage, and a Sunfire Cape, he is just immensely more powerful when he dives in. Although he doesn't have the DPS that Lesbian Squirtle can bring out, he's surviving so much longer. And that's really going to be key here. Oh, Lee Sin Baby runs right here, face checks the bush, and he won't be able to survive too long. Diamond finds the last hit. And now with the jungler down, that should be an easy Baron. Painless is low, but the rest of the team has been able to stay up pretty high, and Zaza will be able to tank this out like none other. Keeping on the Burning Agony for some consistent damage, and really no possibility of a steal from anyone here on Sith. Nothing's going to outdamage the Smite, and they can't underestimate Admiral Ziploc and his ability to secure this Baron. There it's going to be, actually. King Plebe taken away. At this point, he's almost critting for more than a Smite can deal. But still maybe a little bit of a miscalculation. Sarasun slowed up by the Glitterlands and taking massive damage from Lulu. Will land the flay back, but get taken out by Admiral Ziploc, diving in with the audacious charge. He just looks to clear out the sides of the box as now the Bulbatir, the next target, taking out about 3 shots. This is an incredibly powerful Jedi team. Diamond coming out so strong with the Lichbane procs on the auto attacks. That shield as well helps him take up to two or 3 turret shots. If he throws onto someone with some high damage mitigation like Zaza, that could take up even more. Blue Rain doing his best to throw over the javelins. Admiral Ziploc flashes in for the audacious charge, lands a knock-up, the double knock-up from the Wild Growth, but Blue Rain flashing away will do his best to escape. The flash over with the help picks finds the kill as the rest of his team moves in onto the inhibitor, onto the Nexus, sorry. The inhibitor has already fallen, and the Nexus looks to fall soon after. Soul Shackles claims the kill onto Sarasun just as the Nexus falls. In 34 minutes, a win here to the Jedi. It seems that good will always overcome evil. And congratulations here to the players King Plebe, Painless, Diamond, Admiral Ziploc, and Zaza. Hope to see you all tomorrow where I will be streaming every single day. And thank you all for watching.